Hey everyone, it's me, Stephanie Nietzsche. What is a writer's biggest problem? Well, you may think it's writing the book, but after you write the book, it's finding the readers for the book. So how do you do that? Now, I wrote a book, and this is not what this is about. I'm not trying to sell my book, but I did write a book, which is going to be backwards. How to find readers for your book. But I am going to share something from it. So, how do you think you find new readers? Well, if you don't let people know that you've written a book, how are they supposed to read it? So here are some tips that I have included in this short book on how to do that. Okay, so these are such simple practices. You will see how fast things start to change once you start to make these small changes yourself. Below are some examples of how to work marketing into your daily conversations. So it's not that hard. I mean, anywhere you go or anyone you speak to, someone might say to you, "What are you doing this weekend?" Or "What did you do this weekend?" And your reply should be, "I'm working on my book." Or if you've already published, "I am working on my next book." Now, I do want to say this is really for people that have a book or two out already. Because if you are an aspiring writer and you don't have anything published yet, and someone says to you, "What did you do this weekend?" and you say you were working on your book, people have a tendency sometimes to discourage us. And it's bad enough as a writer. Sometimes we have that imposter syndrome. So let's not leave anything open or any possibilities for someone to have some discouraging or negative talk about us writing our first book. So basically, this is for after you have your book published, but these are tips that you should remember because you are going to have that book published. And even if it's in, let's say, the editing stages, because you've gotten that far, you paid for an editor, there's no turning back now. So you can share this in conversation if you're unpublished, but if you're far enough in your story where you know there's no turning back. Okay, so that's the answer for that one. So what do you do for fun? I write books. That should be your answer. And someone asks, "What do you do for a living?" And your answer should be, "I'm an author," or "I write books." Now you can also tell them about your other job because usually for us authors, we do not make enough to make a living from it, okay? But that's the goal, right? That's always the goal. Okay. You look unhappy. I just wrote a sad chapter in my book, okay? You look happy. I just wrote what I think is a great chapter in my book. Or you could say, "I am working on what I think will be a great story for my next book." Or, "I've been thinking about a few new ideas for my next book." Now, all those leave an opening for people to say, "Oh my gosh, what are you working on? You're a writer? Where can I find you?" And then that question, this is my answer to that. You should always have a bookmark. I don't know, some of you that listen to my videos and my drill of the bookmarks maybe say, okay, we get it. But not everybody watches the same videos. Some people are new to my channel. I do know I could say this. When I post on social media and I show my bookmark and I talk about bookmarks, a lot of authors comment on the post, "Wow, I have a bookmark, but I do not have my social media info on the back," or "Wow, I do not have the where to find me info or where to find my books on the back." Now, that is such a wasted opportunity. If you were going to take the time, energy, and spend the money on creating a bookmark, you really need to let people know where they can find your books, where they can find you. It's the perfect advertising tool, so you should definitely do that. And if you don't have bookmarks, I would get on it and I would do it right away. And you can always check my pages and you can see my bookmarks, what I have on there, which is my book title, the cover as the design. If my book is on Kindle Unlimited, which my books are on Kindle Unlimited, I add that. My books are on Amazon, I add that. You can have your tagline on there and always your social media. Okay, so, and then if someone says to you, "You look tired," your response should be, "I was up all night working on my book." And then they're going to be like, oh my God, you write books. So you get the idea. It all comes back to your writing. And it may not be easy in the beginning to say these things, so start practicing now. When I wrote my first book and people learned that I was an author, they would say, what is your book about? And I would go, oh, what is my book about? Because it's hard. It's hard to condense what a whole book is about, especially when somebody takes you by surprise. So this is why you have to already have your answer. When someone asks you what your book is about, you tell them, and you keep it short because you want to lure them in. You want to attract those readers. Just like the blurb on the back of your book where you're trying to lure in the reader and make your story sound interesting, that's what you should be doing when you verbally talk about it. But again, you got to keep it short because if you reveal the whole story, what's the sense of reading it? Also, I want to say, just like we go on social media and promote our books, there is no reason why, this is also in my book, there is no reason why you cannot wear a shirt that says, I write books, I'm an author, or when we had to wear face masks, back in, I don't know, not that very long ago, but when we had to wear face masks, I'll never forget, I went to an appointment and my face mask said, ask me about my book. So the woman that was behind the desk who was checking me in for my appointment, she said, your mask says, ask me about my book. So I'm asking you about your book, which was fabulous. And then what did I do? Of course, I told her a little bit about it, but it is kind of hard to talk to a mask. I gave her a bookmark. I mean, it's perfect. You have to create opportunity for yourself because if you do not create opportunity, you are missing out. You are really missing out on finding new readers, letting people know that you're a writer, having people follow you on social media, create more engagement. I mean, you have to spread the word. And just like we promote our books on social media, we show our covers, our blurbs, we share our reviews, we're advertising. And there is nothing wrong with wearing a t-shirt that says you're an author, advertising the fact that you're an author. There's nothing wrong with wearing a face mask, advertising the fact that you're an author and you write books. I mean, how are people supposed to know about it? You just don't walk up to people and go, hello, I write books. It doesn't work like that. You have to work it in the conversation. You have to practice, okay? Just like you have to practice writing, you have to practice marketing. You have to practice how to get yourself and what you do in that conversation. Okay, so it does say check out my posts and see how I put my tips to use myself. Also, please be sure to share with me what tip or tips you have tried and how it works. So yes, in these comments, I would love to know your tips too. Let's share. I mean, that's how we learn from each other, right? And it also saves aspiring writers a lot of time because if you could just get out of that gate after you write that book and market and advertise, you really save yourself a lot of time instead of finding out about it months or years later. And feel free to tag me in any post where you are using something you learned from this book. I would really love to know. And keep in mind, it is another great opportunity for more free advertising for you and your book as well. Okay, well anyway, that's a snippet from How to Find Readers for Your Book, which is on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. See what I did there? But I'm not pushing my book. I am sharing information because that is what I like to do. In the beginning, when I first started out, I knew nothing. I knew no one. And having information like this, I mean, it's key. It really helps. It saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of energy. It saves a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of worry. And it helps, get you and your work out there. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Feel free to write comments below. I want to hear it all. Share your tips. Share what you think you should do, what you've been told to do, or if you don't know what to do. And if I have any suggestions for you, I am more than happy to help. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.